Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Eljay Johnsen Show. This show airs every single weekend, every Saturday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise, over on Twitter at the Eljay Johnsen, where, of course, there are updates to the show and guest announcements every single Tuesday. And if you have any questions and or commentary, feel free to either leave a comment down below or email me at ljjohnson@gmail.com. A lot of LJ Johnsons, a lot of emails, a lot of places to find me. Okay. So I'm quite excited for my next guest. She is a longtime fan of the hit Lego theme, Ninjago. Of course, it's Hayley Wolfe. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you, LJ?
I'm good. I'm doing good. It's been a good day. It hasn't
All
been
right.
too hot. September is finally here, and September is my favorite
Oh,
month
wonderful.
because the heat dissipates greatly at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gets really
Oh
cool at
yeah.
night.
Oh yeah.
It's wonderful.
Oh yeah. Even down here in the south, it does get
No,
pretty
yeah, the
cool pretty
South.
fast. So yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Like it's been hot. It's been really hot, but now hopefully weather will be nicer and we don't have to sweat it out at college. So
yeah,
yeah.
no, heck, you also have the humidity because I don't have that. I
Oh
live
yeah.
in a very dry
Oh
place.
yeah. Oh, humidity is the worst.
Yeah,
Especially when it's really humid. Oh,
yeah,
oh, you're
no,
lucky.
not a
You're
too
lucky
big,
way out
not too big a fan of that. I've experienced it.
there.
Oh gosh, in Virginia. There we go, in Virginia, and
Yeah.
it's crazy looking around. You see everyone around you, and it's hot, and you're hot, and everyone's glistening. They're
Hmm.
shiny.
Hmm.
It's like, there's a bit of a
What is
problem
this?
here.
Yeah. And then you realize you're listening too, and you're like, what's going on? This is new to me.
Yeah, no, it's awful. It's
Uh,
miserable. It's like
yeah,
walking through pudding.
yeah, and like swallowing air that's heavier than you'd expect. So,
Yeah, it's not
ugh,
fun.
it's it's not fun at all. Ugh, that's what pools are made for.
I hate pools. I hate any body
Okay.
of water. I don't know how to swim,
Oh,
and I've had some awful experience with pools.
you don't know how to swim?
No, not at all.
LJ. Oh my gosh.
No,
All
I,
right.
I don't know how to swim. I once almost drowned trying to chase a pool cleaning robot to the deep end of the pool. That obviously did not end well. My thought process was, hey, it's moving. Let's be friends. And then I had to be fished out. It was not fun.
I don't even want to ask how old you were when this happened, so I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah, no, I
Just gonna
think
leave it there.
that's probably for the best.
Yeah, probably for the
But
best.
yeah, so let's go ahead
Yeah.
and get into the subject matter. Go ahead and first introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about how you got into Lego, how you got into Ninjago, and we'll take it from there.
All right. All right. Well, I got into Ninjago basically because my brother and we would watch Saturday morning cartoons because we didn't yet understand the pleasure of sleeping in on Saturday morning. So we would go downstairs and watch whatever was on. And finally, one day we just jumped on this one show with the Lego Ninjas and we watched a few episodes. This was, I believe, during season two, around right around where the Meg weapon was about to come out.
Hmm.
And I remember a few episodes were funny, didn't really know who these characters were and yada 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 until one morning my brother came and woke me up and said, you have to watch this episode of Ninjago. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Didn't tell me much about it. And I went downstairs and watched Child's Play.
Mm.
And that was the episode that basically said I was going to keep watching the show. I wanted to learn more and more because those characters were so funny, the way they interacted. I, I I wanted to learn more and more, and that's how I ended up finding the pilots. Bought the DVD so I could continue watching it. This was before uh, I believe they even came out on Netflix. We didn't have Netflix, so even if they didn't, or if they did, but yeah,
Okay.
I kept watching it. I was there when season two ended, and I remember the intense feeling of it coming back when it was rebooted, and watching the trailer and getting so excited. I watched it live, and then waited, those many, many months until it came out again. And then I've been on ever since. And Lego community wise, I hopped on Tumblr like 2 years ago, I think.
Oh no.
2.5 years ago. Yeah, that was how I know. That's how I originally started. I write fan fiction a lot for it, posted on Tumblr. But, and then a few years pass, and I say a few years pass. I start listening to Ninjago Cast because I wanted to listen to other people who weren't either kids or it was a single person just talking about the episode. I wanted like people discussing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I found, the TTV and Ninjago Cast that were talking about Ninjago in a way that I couldn't find anywhere else. So I listened to that for like season 6 and 7 and just kept listening and listening. And finally, when it became like season 8, Hands of Time, Sons of Garmadon was pirated, I realized that, there could be an issue with it airing in the United States. No one's going to watch it because they all watch it on YouTube. So I started something called #Watch Ninjago Live 2018, which was a big hit among, the creators and the fans. And Mesonac, or Tyler from the TTV, followed me. And then from that, I was kind of thrown into the whole world of TTV, got to guest star on Ninjago Cast, which was a huge dream of mine. And out of that, I realized that Bionicle was part of Lego, because up until 5 months ago, I did not know those two were the same thing.
Ouch.
And yeah, I'm sorry. Even though my brother had Bionicle in his Lego box, I somehow did not make that connection.
You're giving a lot of people some credence, and I don't like that.
I know. I apologize. And then from there, I wasn't interested in Bionicle until like it was either you or Tyler said that the world was inside of a giant robot. And that little tiny bit was enough for me to say, okay, Bionicle. And now it took me like 3.5 months to learn all I could about Bionicle, or was it 4.5 months? Now I've read, watched, and I guess looked at comics for all of Bionicle, including G2. And that was it was so much fun. So that's where I am today.
Okay. All right. So there's a lot to unpack there. Let's start off with the Ninjago Cast. First of all, tell me, what were your thoughts on that? There was a brief period in Ninjago Cast where they had like a cast change and someone was taken out of it. And I feel like the quality kind of decreased. Did you notice that by any chance?
I thought you were going to bring up Dareth Cast, and I was about to laugh. But with Var?
With me.
Are you speaking to Var? Oh, with you? Oh, I thought you meant recently.
Oh my gosh. No, for anyone unaware, I'm joking because she had no idea I had been fired from TTV and didn't notice my disappearance from my stinking podcast that I hosted. My goodness.
I didn't know who it was. In fact, I remember one time asking Tyler, hey, so who does the recaps?
Holy crud.
I didn't know who it was because when you came back, because I knew it was like the return of Eljay was part of the title for a podcast, and all of a sudden they were like kind of making you say Antics Ensue because that was your big thing for Ninjago Cast.
It was. And
when you said it, and I was like, wait a second. And so I went back and I was like, so he hasn't been here this whole time?
Oh my gosh.
What are you talking about?
Did they say... I didn't listen to any of the older episodes that I wasn't part of. Did they ever say Antics Ensue? And if so, who said it?
I don't think anyone did. If any... I don't know who... I can't remember. I wish I could, but...
I'm happier that way. If they didn't say it, that's good.
Because it was a big deal when you said Antics Ensue. I remember wondering why everyone was cheering, but now I know why. Antics Ensue is a big thing.
It is,
especially for Ninjago.
It's
way
important
to describe some of their scenes.
It's ingrained now. I'm hoping to get that to catch on. I keep on asking Purple or Var from TTV. Like, come on, guys. Come on, just one Antics and Sue shirt. Please, I won't ask for any other shirts. And they're always
gosh.
They always go, you have enough shirts, LJ. Get out of here. And I'm like, no, it doesn't even need to be me. You can put Jay on the cover with not LJ, but, Jay from Ninjago. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, no, get out of here. So
no, I'm 100% for that. I'm like 200% for that. We need an Antics and Suit t-shirt.
Excellent. Perfect. We'll start petitioning
with a little Ninjago cast little logo on there as well.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I'd buy that. No.
I'd buy that.
But
I'd buy like 20.
What would you do with 20?
I don't know.
You need to be better about your financial management. My goodness.
I'd make like a picture. I would, cut them up and make like I don't know, what do you call it, like a quilt?
Oh my gosh.
And soup all over it.
I'm a little disturbed now. We're going to move on.
Okay, yeah, let's move on. Quilts are fun.
So, pertaining to Ninjago, a few rudimentary questions. Firstly, do you have a favorite season?
Ooh. I did make a list earlier, and my number one spot was Skybound.
Oh, real? Okay, good. I really like Skybound.
Oh, do you?
Yes,
I thought you were going to say you didn't. I love Skybound, including the ending.
Okay, I'm a little bit mixed on the ending, as most people are. Mm-hmm. However, I am a huge fan of Skybound. Nauticon is one of my favorite Ninjago villains, period.
Oh, he is such a well-written villain. And well-acted, and well-designed.
Of course, Scott McNeil does an amazing job. For the record, Scott McNeil, Nauticon, the Overlord, okay, Tahu and Onua from The Mask of Light.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I remember that. I remember because we were looking up, see what characters were in there, and Andrew Francis being Jala was the greatest thing, and I wish he was in another movie.
Yeah, no, and he was. Moro. He was Moro. Yes.
Yes, he was Moro.
Okay, that's right.
And yeah, Scott McNeil was also Klaus and Karloff too. He's done fantastic characters.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
So, he's so good.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I love Skybound. I think it was a really solid season. Obviously mixed on the ending. I don't think that it killed it. It's not a great ending, but I digress.
Yeah. But it was good for the Jay and Nia.
Of course.
But for the full season of Skybound being literally nothing, for some fans are like, so wait, what did we just do? Like they literally did nothing. But for those who are fans of Jay and Nia, they're like, oh my gosh, they had a whole thing. It was so wonderful. And yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it was a really good season. Very suspenseful, very well executed. My absolute favorite season, though, is Rebooted.
Yes, that's also another great season.
Okay, thank you. For some reason, a lot of people do not like Rebooted, and I think it was really good.
It was really fast-paced, and now we know why.
Yeah.
With what they've told us about that season and the nightmares that that came with it. But besides it being fast-paced, it was I remember seeing the trailers and seeing an explosion when the elevator exploded. And I was like, I don't think we've seen an explosion of that scale in Ninjago before.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the first sign that Ninjago was taking another step to, I guess, growing up as we've seen over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ending was amazing. Some of those little arcs with them going to space, them going to the Digiverse. I would say the one thing that puts a little tiny damper on it is the love triangle.
Agreed.
Even though a few fantastic scenes emerged from it, the whole idea of it was just why. I know you're trying to give Cole something to do, but that was not it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. For me, I feel like it's diametrically opposed to Skybound because Skybound is a great season with a mediocre ending. And Rebooted is a mediocre season with a great ending. And I feel like that the ending kind of wins out when it comes to Rebooted and elevates it over Skybound just a smidge.
Oh yeah, because that finale was it was one of the best finales Ninjago's ever done, and probably still has ever done. I think the only one that would come close is either the finale for season 2 or the finale for season 9.
Season
Because it
9.
was just so good. Hunted.
Hunted. Okay, you mean season 10?
Let's not bring this up because this podcast is going to get very long.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, and Hunted. So.
But
Yeah.
Now, do you have a least favorite season?
Chills. Least favorite season.
Mm-hmm.
That's so hard because every single season has something amazing as a part of it. But if I had to choose one season as my least favorite, it would probably be season 2.
Season 2.
Because I'm one of those weird fans that the filler season, the Mega Weapon season, is one of my favorite few episodes of the entire series because they're just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But the ending of that season was very serious and a little tiny boring. And I know it was Ninjago's big moment, but I feel like it didn't have as much as heart as the first part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But it had some fantastic moments. The Stone Army was a little meh to me, but that was just my opinion. I know it was a fantastic ending, especially the last episode. But yeah, that season was just kind of a little low compared to the others. So
that's fair. That's perfectly reasonable. I can understand that.
And what's your least favorite?
Gosh, I don't know. It might be season. I call it season 2, the one with the Mega Weapon. Because I wasn't too gripped by majority of the... Wait.
That's the same season. I'm talking about... That's the same season as mine.
Oh.
Yeah, Mega Weapon is also part of the Stone Army one.
Oh. Okay, then yeah, that one. It's probably that one. I haven't given it a whole lot of thought. So it's either going to be that or something to do with Hands of Time. I'm not sure. I've said a variety of different things in the past. Oh man... Sons of Garmadon is so good, and then I've said, Hunted is a little bit better than Sons of Garmadon, which isn't that great. And it's it changes, it evolves. I need to give it a little more thought.
Yeah, I think I made a list at some point, but I can't remember which I ranked over the other Sons of Garmadon versus Hunted because they're both either 2 or 3 for me. But I can't remember which I put on top of the other. I think Sons of Garmadon was 2, just because of the Harumi plot. But yeah. Yeah, we agree on the worst season, or
fair enough,
not the greatest one.
But... Fair enough, that works.
All right.
Okay, so moving forward, obviously enough, you got very much so into Ninjago. I've been a Bionicle fan. In fact, at the time of this recording, this is a little fun fact. At the time of this recording, it is September 1st. September 1st is when I first joined the Bionicle fan website BZ Power in 2005. So it's officially been 13 years since I've been a part of the LEGO community. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And so, obviously enough, I've been a fan of Bionicle for a very long time. Quite a few years prior to 2005, in any case. So, Bionicle's my thing. Ninjago's your thing. And you had the opportunity to go through Bionicle in its entirety in a very, obviously, rushed fashion. The way I went through it was gradually... not snail mail, mealworm pace.
As it came out.
Yeah, exactly. Every so often, whenever new content came out, I'd follow it quite attentively. And you're this way with Ninjago. So, right out the gate, what were your first impressions about Bionicle in comparison to Ninjago?
Well, when I first kind of encountered Bionicle was actually quite a few years ago because we have a DVD of Mask of Time. No, not Mask of Time. Mask of Light. We had that DVD. I remember, coming across it every once in a while and looking at it and thinking, that looks interesting, but I should watch that at some point, and they never did. Mainly because I didn't like the design of Bionicle. I didn't really grasp the whole robot. I guess what's the name of those sets? Like
Biomechanical. Oh, construction. Okay, yeah, the construction building system.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of what the construction sets looked like. So when I started getting or watching Bionicle, or I guess the first thing I did was play Monog. Um, the one major thing that kind of threw me off was how they looked. I didn't really agree with it. It looked kind of cartoony, definitely, very kiddie, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to Ninjago, even though they were minifigures, I got to know these characters, and the characters were very realistic compared to robots, or what appeared to me as robots.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of struggled with that for the first few actually years of Bionicle when I started reading through it. And I believe it kind of changed with the Toa Metru
Oh,
and
okay.
the Toa Hordika. Because for when they had like that struggle with the Hordika venom, that
Mm-hmm.
was very interesting. I was really excited to see how their characters would kind of evolve from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then even better when the Toa, I'm going to say this wrong. Is it Anika? Anika?
Uh, it varies time to time, but the official pronunciation is
Okay.
Inika.
Anika? Okay.
Yeah, but I
When the
don't care
Toa
how you say it.
yeah, when the Toa and Anika came along and they turned from a Tor into Toa, that was a big moment. I was like pumped reading that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when the world evolved into the giant robot, that I think, compared to Ninjago, that is Bionicle's greatest strength because that captured me. All of the world of Bionicle captured me. And I wanted to know as much as I could about this world. I wanted to know what the Magnas were. I wanted to know what the giant robots, what did that mean for this universe, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what captured me for Bionicle, rather than the characters and their designs and everything. So, but yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Now, I figured that what you just said answers the question. There's been a lot of debate
Mm-hmm.
over the years, more recently over the years, mainly due in part to TTV and a particular endeavor they partook in a few years back regarding System Bionicle. And one of the main questions that plagued us was, what is the core of Bionicle? I've always maintained it's the toys because Bionicle is a Lego theme and Lego
Mm-hmm.
is a toy company.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would figure you would say it's the world building and the
Yes.
atmosphere.
100%.
Okay.
It's the world, I would say, because it's so unique, and I feel like I would never be able to witness this, but when the fans found out in 2008, when they read that or they watched the animation, I will never be able to like register that feeling of, oh my gosh, this entire world that we knew is something completely different than I could ever have imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that feeling on itself, I can't even think of any other, stories that I've read that is anywhere close to that. And just to hold that secret for 8 years is so impressive.
Yeah.
So while the toys are, I would say I guess if they sold well, then they did their job.
Most of the time.
But yeah, up until 2010, but we know that story.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the world was. I just think that world is just so unique, and I wish other people knew about it because it's just so cool. That's just what I personally love about Bionicle compared to Ninjago, because Ninjago does not have that. I think it attempted it in season 5 when there was like, oh, by the way, we have 16 realms, but it didn't have as much of an impact as, a giant robot standing up that we've explored for like the past 8 years, but had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I can't help but agree. When it comes to Ninjago, Ninjago is very character centric. It doesn't spend a whole lot of time on location. It's just where the characters are in any given place, and that way, unfortunately, it's difficult to get really attached to certain areas. So, like when the monastery burned to the ground, it's like, okay, well, whoops, I guess, but don't worry, they now have a flying boat, so we're okay now.
Yeah.
They're traveling, and maybe you can, because you're more well versed with Ninjago than I am.
Yeah. I would say that if there's any one location of Ninjago that has like an impact or has like a statement for the show, it's the Destiny's Bounty, even though it's been destroyed
So many times.
like 7, 8 times at least, including the movie. I think we counted it at some point.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that says one thing, the monastery burnt down once.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically twice if you count Hands of Time. But the Destiny's Bounty, the Destiny's Bounty was continually broken and then rebuilt and then broken and then it was redesigned, and somehow the redesign leaked into the TV series, even though it had already been broken. So it's been there since episode 2, and the only other one I can think of is Ninjago City, but it's a city, so it's kind of hard for that to be like a main location of focus. So
yeah.
But yeah,
that's kind of the issue that I run into, because what I was about to say was you would probably be able to mention notable locations in the island of Ninjago. Like, can you rattle any off? Because the only ones I can think of are Borg Tower, and that's it.
Yeah, there's Borg Tower. There's the amusement park, which we've visited a few times. You kind of randomly too. It's very interesting. We've been to the Temple of Fire, like I think twice. The Wailing Alps, which was very interesting. It was actually brought up in a fan fiction that Tommy wrote. That's where the blind man's eye comes, and they go and they use it to get to one of the realms. The realms are interesting, as there's 16 of them. We've only explored 8, or we only know of 8, including Chima, but that's kind of iffy. We've got the toxic bogs. We've got the lighthouse, the Dark Island, Temple of Light. Just a few that have reoccurred enough so that we need to go do this one thing. Okay, let's go visit the Temple of Light, or we need a location, just a random location to have Zane attack things. Okay, let's just do the theme park so that Jay and Cole can go to the theme park and they know where it is. It's not a new location. So they have a few that they've selected. While Bionicle has, they have islands that they use as their main locations, like Ninjago has places.
Yeah.
So, islands and cities.
Most of Ninjago takes place over one general landmass.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you were able to rattle all those off. The only 2 I can think of are the monastery and Borg Tower. And those are the only 2 to me that come to mind. Now, that might just be because I'm not as well versed in Ninjago. Despite following it from its inception, I don't really remember a whole lot of the locations. I remember them being at places, but I don't recall their names. Like, when you say these things, like the lighthouse, it's like, oh, I have the Lego set based off that. I look to my right. There it is. And I go, yeah, no, I remember the lighthouse. Yeah, duh. But for me, when I think of Bionicle and the notable locations there, it always comes back to the island of Matanui, where there was a lot of time spent building it up specifically with Monog 1, Monog 2. I can rattle areas of it. Huramafa River, Likoro, Liwahi, of course, Tawahi, the Charred Forest, Mount Ihu, the the Mangai volcano, the Motara Desert, I believe it is. All of these different areas just on that one island. And then you go to Metranui, you have the Notch, the Great Furnace, the Great Temple, the Colosseum. And so there are a lot of places in Bionicle that I remember because a lot of time was spent in those places. And it got you incredibly well versed with them. You became really well acquainted. And it seems like for me, I just don't have that familiarity with Ninjago.
Yeah. Because they don't spend a lot of time, I would say, focusing on what that building is in comparison to what that place can do for the ninja. For Bionicle, I think it was the other way around. It was like, this place is important because it has this much history for it, and then the Bionicle are going to go use this place. So
Yeah.
Like they select the place for the Bionicle, but for Ninjago, they select like the ninja for that place.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. No, I can
think
agree.
that.
So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, it's fairly evident. I think Bionicle, I believe that it does have the better world building, not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
because there aren't
No, I
enough
agree.
locations, but I feel it's just a matter of
Mm-hmm.
focus.
Oh yeah, I agree. The world. The timeline. Bionicle has a timeline that is like rooted to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Ninjago has a timeline that doesn't exist. Uh, you can tell that the care has been spent for the world of Bionicle,
Mm-hmm.
rather for Ninjago, because it wasn't expected to last this long. The roots of their time and their locations and their places of importance have been like built on, like oh, we need a place to do this. Okay, let's just invent this one place. Like, oh, we need to go find a place to put the Mask of Hatred. Let's make up this place in a forest that we've never heard of and a map that apparently is important. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Bionicle, they had, I think, everything set up so
Yeah.
that it all kind of made sense when it happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Now, one of the strengths that Ninjago definitely has would handedly be in its character interactions. And I
Yes.
would say the general characterization of many of the main characters, such as Wu,
Mm-hmm.
Jay, Kai, Cole, and Zane. I almost mixed up two of them there for a
And
moment.
Nia, I think you
And
said, did you say Lloyd?
I did not say Lloyd. The only reason I said the original five were because they're on
Mm-hmm.
screen right now and
Yeah,
I'm
they've
looking
been
at them.
there.
But
Oh,
obviously enough, yeah, then
but
Lloyd
yeah.
and Nia.
And that's a big contrast that Bionicle has over, that Ninjago has over Bionicle. They have a core group that stays as the core group for all of its years, while Bionicle has like uh, 4 teams at one point of Toa that
Yeah.
you all have to kind of focus around.
Yeah, there
Um,
are a lot of moving
yeah.
components and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
groups that you need to pay attention to in the Bionicle
Mm-hmm.
sphere. While thankfully
Oh
with
yeah.
Ninjago, it's very centralized.
Yes. And it works. Like usually, you'd think sometimes if it's centralized, it would get boring after like 5 seasons of seeing the same characters. Everyone knows that Jay's the funny one, and Kai's the one that's going to rush in without thinking it, and Zane's the robot. It's probably gonna get boring, but yet season after season, it continues to prove that these ninjas still have ways they can grow, can still have moments that makes their character shine, that is still enjoyable to watch, which is amazing. That's amazing writing. It shouldn't be possible. Kids shows don't last this long for that one reason. So.
Now, I can understand where there are possibly some critiques to be had. I see in the
Mm-hmm.
chat right now a lot of people are talking about, well, it's gone on quite a while. Maybe it is kind of
Mm-hmm.
starting to get stale. I don't personally think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
Yeah.
stale is the word I would use for it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that there is something to be said for working on the continuity, but
Mm-hmm.
I do think that there
Yeah.
is more to explore. Obviously, since our greatest complaint has always been, my
The
complaint
timeline.
and
Yeah.
TTV's complaint, Cole has nothing.
Oh.
I'm sorry, he
Oh.
has nothing. He has lava arms which haven't been explained. He has a mother we've seen
Oh.
once, a father who
We haven't even seen her mother. We haven't
wait.
even seen his mother.
Oh, you're right. That was Jay's mother. That's
That was
that's right.
Jay's mom. And then the only other woman we saw, I believe she was like a master of shadow. So we haven't
Okay,
even seen Cole's mom.
amazing.
Oh, my
See,
heart just. Oh, my heart just broke.
they gave him a full special. They dedicated a
Mm-hmm.
decent portion of a season to him, and we still have so
Mm-hmm.
little to go on outside of
Uh-huh.
his body's a temple, and apparently cake ruins it. That's what we have for him. He's buff.
He's also a dad. He was totally the dad to
Oh,
Wu.
yeah, he's a dad. You can't see me, but I got air quotes right now. He took care of baby Wu when he grew up in like a week.
Mm-hmm. He was
Like,
Cole Jr. Wu was Cole Jr. for a second. And, yeah. Oh, man, my heart. For those who are listening who's wondering why, Cole's my favorite ninja, which is probably hard for people to perceive since
It's
Cole doesn't really
baffling.
have a character. Um, and I completely agree. Cole is one of those characters where the writers don't really know what to do with him. He's just there. He was originally the leader, and then Kai came in, took over, and then Lloyd came in and took over. So then now Cole's like, pushed down and down and down. And he's had this food thing that's been here since season 1. And then when they're like, oh, we need him to do something and rebooted, okay, he likes Nia now. Woo.
What?
And they threw that in and was like, this is not what Cole is. He's never been like this. And then, season 4 was good because he sacrificed himself for Jay, which was a big moment for him. Went and found Zane and yada, yada, yada. And then season 5, they literally killed him. He became a ghost, which
For whatever reason.
Yeah, because he was the only character they probably could think of, like, which character could we kill? And it wouldn't, people wouldn't scream at us. Oh, Cole, we can kill him and people won't care. Well, I cared, but it definitely did. It gave Cole some character development, even though he was dead. And somehow he became back human because I don't even know why the reasoning for that is. Day of the Departed was a great thing for him because I will still argue that the only one who would have stopped to consider Yang as a good guy would be Cole. All the other ninja would have not have listened to him, shut him up and, ended the fight. Cole, who had experienced what he's feeling because he's forgotten, hence, us viewers forget, Cole's kind of there. He keeps feeling like he's going to be forgotten. He's like, oh, I understand how you're feeling. And it can lead us to become irrational because he became irrational. He grabbed a weapon and went to go take care of Yang. So that was a big moment for him. And then, of course, Sons of Garmadon with his singing thing and, taking care of the baby. And then, of course, it carries on to Hunted. And he has a little bit. But I mainly appreciate Cole because he's kind of the foundation. He's keeping everyone in check. And he cares for all of them. And he's willing to drop everything to help out. Yeah. Even if it wouldn't be in his best interest. Like untying himself to die.
That needed a little more focus. It still needs a little more focus. I think
I agree.
They started to touch upon it, and it was really fascinating because in Hunted, they started to touch upon it. They showed Cole meeting Wu, having an in-depth conversation. They started that off, but then it became a thing for all the ninja. We didn't need to bother with Kai because we'd already seen him. It was the start of the show.
Well, yeah.
But I feel that Cole still needs more. He needs something defining, something to really, because Kai's
he needs a season.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that. Because I can describe all of the characters fairly well. Wu is wise. Lloyd is young but determined. Nia is headstrong, but she kind of goes with the flow, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Jay is the energetic, always upbeat, constantly joking, funny guy. Yeah. Kai is the super, also headstrong, kind of naive at times. I wouldn't say jovial. That's not the right word. Just a bit
cocky.
Yes, perfect. But Cole, food.
You forgot Zane. But
dang it! Zane is the really collected, analytical, very rational one of the group. He's always looking out at things from a very objective point of view. But Cole is food.
Yeah, whenever they need to make a joke with Cole, it's about food.
Yeah, body temple, no cake.
Bodies in the temple, no cake.
So.
But yeah, I view him as a selfless, foundational character who, I guess he's friends with everyone. He can be. Him and Kai can play off of each other. Him and Zane can play off of each other. Him and Jay are best friends. Him and Nia are close. Him and Lloyd are close.
The problem is I can say that for all of them. Like, all of
True.
them are pretty
Mm-hmm.
selfless. All of them can bounce off really well, which lends
Yeah.
credence very nicely to their
Mm-hmm.
cooperation, how the character interaction has
Mm-hmm.
been set up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like, I'm looking for something really unique in Cole. Like, foundational is
Yeah.
a good, it's a good
Mm-hmm.
starting point. Although I just don't feel like they show
Yeah.
that enough.
Yeah. They don't. It's yeah. I mean, because he, in my personal headcanon, Cole was the first one that Wu found, and he was the first one that he trained. And so when all the ninja started filing in, he was always the first one that took in Zane, took in Jay, then finally Kai.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of started the team. But yeah, he's very interesting. He doesn't have a very static character for the
Yeah,
writers. But yeah, it's a shame. He's a great guy, fantastic voice actor.
of
Freaking
course.
love his voice.
The voice cast
But
for Ninjago is
mm-hmm,
always wonderful. I think they
mm-hmm.
all do a really fantastic job.
Oh yeah,
But
but
yeah, no,
mm-hmm,
I want to see more for him. As far as Bionicle's character interactions and kind of character building is
mm-hmm.
concerned, obviously enough, there are a lot of characters. I don't think it's any.
Yeah,
It's not an understatement to say
there's a ton of them.
Bionicle probably has more characters in total than Ninjago does right now, and that's a good and a bad thing.
Yeah,
It's it's a good
I
thing
think
because
Bionicle has more characters in like 2 years than Ninjago has in
ooh, I
total,
don't know if I'd go that far.
or 3 years. Because I mean,
I
if you count the number of characters Ninjago has, or like
eh,
important characters, important compared to Bionicle's important characters.
okay, yeah,
So there's
okay.
really, if you count it, it's really not that many.
Yeah, that is fair. I suppose that's fair. But like in the
Mm-hmm.
overall grand scheme of things, because and the only reason I feel okay comparing the two of them is because Ninjago is going to be coming up on 10 years in 2011 in
Mm-hmm.
what is it, 2021, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be of a comparable size to Bionicle Generation 1. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's way more popular than Bionicle was, given how much
Yeah.
it's an evergreen theme. And evergreen themes
Mm-hmm.
are basically themes that have become so large and so substantial that they're able
Mm-hmm.
to almost in a way self-finance themselves because they're just that big. And
Mm-hmm.
and so when it comes to character relations and character building, Bionicle, they focused on a lot of different groups and they had a lot of different characters inhabit the world, which I feel was good and bad. It's good because it
Yeah.
fills the world up. It gives you a lot of items in the sandbox to utilize.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bad because there's a lot of focus that gets split between everyone. The Toa Mata were
Yeah.
there for one, two,
Mm-hmm.
three. We got them for about 4 total years: 2001, 2002,
Mm-hmm.
2003, and 2008. And then we got the Toa Machu for 2 years. Then we got the Toa Inika for 2 years. Became Toa Mari. And then we split from
Mm-hmm.
all of them. We got the Galatorian. And then we got the Stars. So there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of divide amongst
Yeah.
a variety of different media to
Mm-hmm.
kind of
And then you
learn.
also have, other characters too that also play protagonists. You've got the Axons, uh, I guess the, I was going to keep going. The other Toa, Lezovic, Likon, Nadiki, other characters like that on top of that too.
You do have a supporting cast of characters. Good examples would
Mm-hmm.
be the Matorn from Monog, even though they
Mm-hmm.
were in Monog, they were the protagonists, they were the main characters. But in the
Mm-hmm.
grand scheme of things, they were just
Yeah.
supporting.
Mm-hmm. And the
But
same thing for the six on Voyanui of the Resistance.
yeah, the Voyanui Resistance team. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And and so there's obviously a lot of divide. You got to figure out, well, okay, where do I go to learn about this? Where do I go to learn about that? With
Mm-hmm.
Ninjago, TV show, got you covered.
Yep.
You're all
Oh
good.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think Ninjago does a much better job conveying its characters, conveying how to interact, to learn about these characters and learn more about them in
Mm-hmm.
just the one singular media than Bionicle did
Mm-hmm.
with its myriad of characters and
Mm-hmm.
different media and all sorts of things. Even
Yeah.
if I am preferential to Bionicle, I still think Ninjago has, kind of takes the cake here.
Yeah. Ninjago's a little more organized because it only has one media, or like one main medium to convey all of the events of this world. Now, of course, there are some exceptions like the Dark Island trilogy or some of the books, but compared to Bionicle, which has, books, comics, serials, movies, you have to watch in a specific order in order to understand what's kind of going on. It's a little organized chaos compared to organized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I completely agree.
But yeah. But once you read it in order, it was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Like what what the order is, it's so enjoyable to read and get through it because you feel like, I'm going to jump from this book to this movie, and in the last paragraph of this book, it's referencing the seconds before this movie starts, and it's so cool. With Ninjago, I mean, you're like, okay, season finale, season premiere. That's how they kind of connect the dots. With Bionicle, when they connect the dots in that fashion with two different mediums connecting, it's so cool. Oh, it's so cool. So it can have its pros too, as well.
Oh yeah, and exactly. And so like I said, I'm preferential to Bionicle. I do have a bias there because I was so heavily invested in its continuation, how it progressed, and obviously enough, being a new fan and trying to get back into it, it's horrendously convoluted. I mean, I sent you kind of the the path to 2007, and it's just, all right, bounce here, read these few chapters, and bounce to this, read up to this chapter, then bounce back to the one you were just reading, get up to that chapter, then start a new one, go up to this chapter, then go back to the one that you were reading before, start that chapter. And it gets very spiderwebby, but not like a nice spider web, like a Black Widow spider web, where it's just all over the place.
Yeah. Now, luckily, we had a PDF document that just had it all in order, all the way through, 200 pages worth of Bionicle, but it's all in order. It was so nice. That was fun. So I didn't get to witness read first two chapters of the serial, move to this book, move back to the serial, and now go to another serial. What you were mentioning before. So that must have been frustrating, but
thankfully what you had, and I do want to plug this here because it's an unbelievably well done. It's a topic on BZ Power. It was done by Taraga Nuva, and it's called Biological Chronicle, the Complete Bionicle Collection, where, as Hayley just mentioned, it compiles everything into one giant catalog, and it's broken up into 10 books, so you can get the entire thing. It's all text, and it gives you the full Bionicle story in one of the best ways you can get it. It's a lot of reading, but it's worth it.
And it has comics as well. When it's they need comics, they stick the comics in there too. So it's if you want to reread Bionicle, but you don't want to keep moving around to get the full story, I would highly recommend it. It was so perfect. So yeah, kudos to the person who made it. That must have been so hard, but it's so worth it. So
I think it was Traganuva and Toatapayo Nuva. I'm personally familiar with Toatapayo Nuva. He runs a series on YouTube, Bionicle Animated Comics. I voice Liwa in that, of course. And,
of course.
They're a lot of fun. Except for the fact that he asked me to do movie Liwa voice, which is the one voice that I hate with every single fiber in my being, but I do it anyway for the love of the craft.
Oh, boy.
It's.
I almost asked which movie, and then I bit my tongue because I realized.
No, there's only one movie.
There's only one movie with Liwa in it.
It sucks, too, because Mask of Light had a really great voice acting crew. They had everyone's voice was wonderful. Tahu's, Onua's, Galley's, Kopaka's, perfect. And then the one you'd expect to sound young and jovial and sorry, not jovial, jovial. And just so happy to be alive. Hey, everyone. When you're with me, there'll be no foot walking. Just hair fly. I gotta catch my breath. Because apparently I'm a winded leprechaun that's really tall and wispy. And it sucks! It's awful! I hate it!
You're voicing the Toa Bear. Sound winded.
Oh, dang it! It's awful. That's why I maintain the second a time machine becomes a reality, I'm going back in time to 2003 and just
Voicing Lewa.
I'm gonna
We're
talk.
just not making sure it's him.
I'm going to compete with Dale Wilson and be like, listen, you don't understand. It's my destiny. And just through this one action, I'm going to change the course of history. Bionicle is going to continue for 20 years. I'm going to be the face of it. I'm going to be Liwa. It's going to be amazing. Dang it.
It's going to last for 20 years. Oh,
Sorry.
my goodness. I wouldn't let you because the Ninjago probably wouldn't happen. So if it lasts for 20 years.
Whoops.
Oh, my God.
Whoopsie.
No.
Small sacrifices.
Oh, my gosh. Small sacrifices.
Yeah, sorry. Evergreen themed sacrifices.
At least the Lego Ninjago movie wouldn't have happened, so that's the one pro.
Ouch. Oof. Even Ninjago has its black sheep.
Yeah, the movie that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Well, we should talk about. It hurts to talk about.
Yeah.
But the movie was a good parody of the show. That's about all I can leave it as.
I like the way you said that. That's a really apt description of the Ninjago movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Someone
that.
said that. I can't remember who said that. I think it was either... Oh, I can't remember. I think it was one of the creators, like Tommy or the Hagemans or someone. I can't remember who said it was like, it's like a parody. And I was like, that's a really good way of stating it. I like that. No, It was beautiful. The animation for that movie was... I mean, I've never seen animation like that before. Like for a kid's movie in particular. Like I thought the Lego movie was good. I thought the Lego Batman movie was good. But then when you see those Lego figures walking through like a jungle or talking to a cat that looks real, that's a completely different level of awesome. So kudos to the animators for actually being the ones that wanted to make this an amazing movie. Sorry, writer. So, and editors.
I can agree with that. I think that it's a really it's a beautiful looking movie. It's a really nice looking film.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the voice cast I think is really good. The sole exception I would say is Jay. I was not strong on the Jay voice.
Yeah, it looked like Kumail tried, but I mean at times, he didn't have enough. None of the ninja had enough. I was so upset because I'm sure if he had more, he would have been fine, but. There were times when you can definitely tell that they had brought out some of what Jay is, whether it be, they say, is he really the bravest ninja? And then it's him just screaming in the cockpit. Yeah. Or like, I need you to charge, stuff like that. But whenever he just normally talked, it was like that doesn't feel like Jay. Jay doesn't really usually just talk.
There's to me a strong disconnect between how he looked and how he sounded. Because how he looked was this kind of younger teenager. But how he sounded was like a middle-aged man. And that's not necessarily... Like, that's not a diss against the voice actor. He's obviously very skilled in his craft. Mm-hmm. His craft being on-screen acting, which is where I'm familiar with him. I don't... think that he was a good casting choice. Same with Cole, but the only reason I give Cole a pass is because he barely ever talked.
Yeah, he said like 3 lines.
Yeah.
His sarcastic line will always make me bust out laughing. But that's about it. Whenever he did like his line about, when he was in his mech and he's like, I don't even remember what he said because he said it so, I don't even remember what he said.
Amazing. This is
so something about how you like my new something. It's a something.
Amazing.
But I never liked that. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Speaking well to this film.
Yeah.
I will.
But like Dave Franco, it was so good.
Yes,
Dave
Franco's great.
Yeah, it's so hard to compare Dave Franco versus Sam Vincent, for who's a better Lloyd. But Dave Franco, he knocked it out of the ballpark. Especially with that last little line, his little monologue that was interestingly written, especially for the moment when he's talking to the cat. but just the emotion he put into it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and apparently he cried. Did you hear that he cried while doing this?
No.
You didn't hear about this?
No.
He said in interviews that he actually, during one of his lines, I'm guessing it's the one where he's talking to the cat saying, I want my dad, I miss you, you know, I feel bad, stuff like that. Apparently he must have started crying, like actually crying in the booth. And he had to like step back and say, okay, I'm voicing a piece of plastic and I'm getting this emotional about it. And he would keep saying, you know, Lloyd is such a, you know, he's such a torn character. He's got one of the most what's the word he used to describe it? But he said it was like one of his best characters he's ever played. I'm like, oh, I wish we could say the rest about the rest of the movie because Lloyd was fantastic. Garmadon was pretty good.
I really enjoyed Garmadon's voice. That is possibly it's an instance of me preferring the movie voice over the show voice. Not to say that the show voice does a bad job, just that the movie voice was so like that. He's got a bit of grizzle to his voice, and it's so cool.
Mm-hmm. It's very similar to the show voice, but it's got so much more character to it. Mm-hmm. Like it's not typical bad guy voice. It's like this is Garmadon.
Yeah.
The only thing is that show Garmadon's evil laugh was just legendary.
Of course.
And I think he tried it one time and he did pretty good. But he nailed every joke. I don't think there was, I mean, he got a few jokes kind of fell flat, but for the most part, he nailed it. He nailed every line. Mm-hmm. But he could get serious. He could get, you know, joyful. He could get, you know, diabolical. There's good things about the movie, but fortunately, the major things overshadow it. But unfortunately. But yeah, so that's the Ninjago movie, and then Bionicle got their movies.
Bionicle got 4 very divisive films, where Ninjago has the 1.
Mm-hmm.
Bionicle has 4. Now, I like having more to kind of discuss. Do you actually have a favorite of the films?
Ooh, I think my favorite is probably going to be, oh gosh, if I can't remember the names.
I have a hunch.
It's Legends Reborn.
And that was my hunch.
Is that the last one?
That was the last one. Your favorite is The Legend Reborn. Is that right?
Yes. That is correct.
It is.
I know, it's weird.
It's so hard to find anyone who feels that way. Because when The Legend Reborn came out, it was almost unanimously panned by Bionicle fans.
Wow.
I personally really like the movie. Not because it's good, but because it's nostalgic for me. But to say...
Like the toys?
Say what?
Because it looks like the toys?
No, just because I was...
Okay.
Just because I was part of the community and getting really excited for the movie and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. This was the first time a movie was coming out when you joined the community. Correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I joined the community on the tail end of... I had kind of lurked in the community for a while, but I had not officially joined until the tail end of the hype and promotion for Web of Shadows in 2005. So this is the first movie I got to be entwined and a part of and discuss and talk about. So...
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
I just really like the animation in that. The animation was so good. And I guess the story too, with Madanui and Car and Kina and all those. I really enjoyed their dialogue and and I was not expecting Metis to be the guy.
Yeah.
I was 100% sold that it was, I think it's Ranu. Whatever.
Ranu.
Is it Ranu?
Also,
maybe it's not Ranu.
I misspoke.
Is it Ranu?
Well, Ranu is the Agori.
He's the Agori
fire.
Of Gore, yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was him.
Interesting. I misspoke earlier. Everyone thought it was either going to be Metis or Barracks, because I do think Lego did a really good job of kind of planting seeds for either or, but the majority opinion was that it was Metis. Sorry, not Metis. It was Barracks, because he explored and he kind of pillaged and got a lot of pieces, parts from XYZ, ABC, all these different places, and you can never really keep track of where he was at any one point. And so a lot of people made a very strong argument for it being Barracks, but I didn't want it to be Barracks because I liked Barracks.
Oh, I know who Barracks is now. Okay, sorry, I was trying to remember who he was, but
you can always remember Barracks because he's like, "How's it feel having the metal claw on the other foot?" He's that guy.
He's the guy. Oh my gosh!
And
that's also another reason why I love that movie. He was so great.
That is the quote that Well, it's one of two quotes that sticks with me. It's that one, and Matt Newey going, "All endings are merely beginnings waiting to be born." That's like that. Okay, that's a good one. Also, how'd you feel about Michael Dorn as Matt Newey? Because I know Meso does not like Michael Dorn as Matt Newey.
I loved it.
Okay, yeah,
I loved his voice. I thought he was very appropriate for Mata Nui. When you think of Mata Nui, you think of, I am going to talk like this because I am a hero, And even though I don't know exactly who I am.
Nah, I loved the casting for the Legendary Born, except for Gresh.
Oh yeah.
But not because Gresh did a bad job. I think Gresh actually, the voice actor, did a really good job. It's just. It was kind of a generic voice. That's all. That's not a dig against the actor.
He was kind of young, right?
Yeah,
Very
no,
young.
Gresh was supposed to be
that's
around
what I
21.
would expected to hear for Liwa. Something like that.
That's the thing. It
Very
should have been young and jovial and, I don't know, sounding exactly like a certain show host right now. Wink, wink, Lego. Nudge, nudge, Lego. Dreams can come true, Lego. Okay, anyway.
They tried bringing back Bionicle.
I know why Bionicle failed. Why everyone hated Journey to One. It's because they miscast Liwa again.
Pohatu was... Oh.
Yeah. Every time.
Because Pohatu was Australian.
Crikey, what do you got against Australians? But no, it's just... They keep on doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Keep on miscasting Liwa. It's just... One day they'll get it right, and Bionicle's just going to explode.
Oh yeah, one day when Bionicle comes back.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
When Ninjago gets canceled and Bionicle takes the place of Ninjago. Oh gosh, I don't even want to think about that. I'm still counting. Tyler doesn't want me to say it, but I am still counting that Bionicle is going to show up in a Lego movie.
I'm relatively certain Bionicle will be in the next Lego movie, in some cameo appearance, some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And I think the biggest clue to that is that they're going to space. And where's Bionicle? On a planet. And they're going to space. Heck, they could land on a planet of cancellation and go to like all these past canceled Lego things, and Bionicle's like the king of it.
Oh my gosh. You want to anger everyone in the Bionicle community? That's how it's done.
I mean,
it's true.
I mean, you could have, Nexo Knight be in there, and Chima in there, and Hero Factory in there, and then there's Bionicle. Who,
how many of you
it's kind of like
canceled
it's kind of like.
twice?
Oh, I'm gonna make more Bionicle fans angry, but I'm thinking of like the Island of Misfit Toys. Like the Island of Cancellation or the Planet of Cancellation. I know, I'm sorry. But I think that'll be a very clever way. If not that, then they land on Spherus Magna.
No, they wouldn't do that. That's too on the nose.
Or they pass the Bionicle logo or something. They're like, what's over there?
That's possible. I'm thinking that I think it would be a cameo. Like something along the lines of either A, like you mentioned, the UDD symbol, or B, like a bumper sticker. My other theme is Bionicle. But
yeah,
something small. Real briefly, in the comments here, Nuparuz mentioned that LJ just has a problem with every voice actor playing a green character. First Liwa, now Gresh. That's not true. Matau has one of the best voices in the entire Bionicle franchise. Matau is incredible.
Oh yeah.
But
he was, and he got serious too in Web of Shadows.
We don't talk about that.
Oh, why don't we talk about that?
It's a little bit of it's kind of a divisive subject because Greg Farshty, one of the writers for Bionicle, he wanted it to be Matau to switch to the bad side, not Vakama, and it is one of the things that I do agree with.
Ooh.
Because
I
Matau
remember hearing that.
Matau's incredibly vain. He was always about
Mm-hmm.
being a Toa for the looks and the
Mm-hmm.
fame and the popularity, and it would make
Mm-hmm.
more sense for him to be swayed than
Yeah,
Vakama.
that easily.
And
Yeah.
it would be a
He
character
was, yeah.
defining moment for Vakama to be like, listen, Matau, we have to be a team. I am your leader. You may choose to
Mm-hmm.
follow, but if you do, then you're against me and we will have to stop you. And that is
Yeah.
far more
Yeah.
interesting of a character shift and dynamic
Mm-hmm.
because it does so much for both characters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree.
yeah,
And like I guess in a similar to compare Bionicle to Ninjago,
I like that.
it would have been very interesting if Moro possessed Kai because they both have that in their heart. They wanted to be the Green Ninja,
Hmm.
you know. And then Lloyd would have to talk down, like, listen, you're not the Green Ninja. I am, somehow make that clear. But both Kai, it's like saying Kai could have been Moro.
Dang, that's actually a really good point. That would have been really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Fair
So I
enough.
mean, it's kind of the same way. I mean, they didn't change that. It was always supposed to be Lloyd, but it's an interesting perspective to think about the green and red characters
Mm-hmm.
um, that you know something in their character could have been played at to make something much more interesting. But I think we saw a little bit of it in Tournament of Elements when Kai got all those elements and he got mad with power for like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's almost kind of scary to think about how similar Kai and Moro were in I guess season 1 when he was so headstrong. But the only thing that kept him from really turning was that he was the one that discovered it, and he kind of understood. And Moro, heck, if he understood like Kai did, he would have been like he would have probably been one of like the protectors of Lloyd too. He would have been a good guy, a good sensei, probably with Wu, and he
Mm-hmm.
would have probably helped train the ninja.
Yeah.
But alas, he didn't agree. But but yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. No, handedly. And I think that's a very fascinating place that it could have gone. That
Mm-hmm.
and that's a good thing about Ninjago and Bionicle. They both have places where you can kind of
Mm-hmm.
theorize and come up with utilize the tools in the sandbox that Lego
Yeah.
has crafted.
Mm-hmm. Build on those pieces,
Oh
right?
my gosh. Okay. I think on that note, if you are down to do this, we will go ahead and get into some questions that have been sent in.
All right,
All right,
let's do it.
perfect. Okay, so there are some questions that have been sent in, but I'm running a little bit of an experiment, so unfortunately I'm not going to ask them right away. But they're thankfully the people that emailed questions in sent two. Thank you. So the first one is from Joam. He asks,
Okay.
Hayley, which story serial did you enjoy the most when being introduced to Bionicle?
Like which book, kind of,
The story serial,
or
the online serials. You know what
ooh,
the online serials
that.
are.
Mm-hmm. I know what they are. It's just hard for me to differentiate them because of how it was put together on the.
Because I was afraid of that.
Yeah. Now I can twist that around and say which is my favorite story or serial that Greg started writing before he stopped doing them. Like which idea of his that he created. Do you want to do something like that? Like
Um,
what story serial of those?
it's
Because I
either
can't. I
one.
can't.
They all count.
Yeah, because I don't know which story or serial.
Here, there's a list. I sent you a list of the story serials. And they have brief
Let me look at
descriptors.
this. Um. Okie doke.
I'm trying to remember which one I was preferential to, and I
Oh
think
gosh, I'm gonna.
off the top of my head, I would say Destiny War was one that I quite
Oh
enjoyed.
yeah, that was a major one, wasn't it?
Obviously, the
That
fan
was.
favorite being Dark Mirror.
Wow. Yeah, that was a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You gotta hurry.
oh
You gotta
wait,
be
I
quick.
think I think of one. Hold on,
Hmm.
let me just quickly look at it. Yeah, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be Into the Darkness, which is the
Okay.
story of Makuta Pterodax in the body of Maximus, and he traveled everywhere with Matoro because those two characters were so interesting when they interacted with each other. They're
Hmm.
so interesting. And so many great moments happened that I remember laughing so hard at with Matoro and everything, and Matoro kind of like his shadowy side that Makuta kind of like played with.
Hmm.
And you got to see a different side of Makuta too. So it was very interesting. I really enjoyed reading that one.
Okay, that's fair.
Yay.
All right. And then the next question is from Everett. And Everett asks, what's your favorite and least favorite Ninjago episode?
Oh, oh, favorite episode. It's probably going to be, oh, that's going to be like a long way tie, maybe a three-way tie between Dead Man's Squall, Game of Masks, and Temple on a Haunted Hill.
Hmm.
Temple on a Haunted Hill from episode 48 of season 5, Possession, which is when Colt turned into a ghost.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then my least favorite?
Hmm.
Um, Wrong place, wrong time. I won't go into that because that's conversation all in itself.
Good.
Um, ooh, what's I didn't like the attack
The attack.
from Hands of Time. That's
Oh,
the
I
name
see.
of the episode. The attack. That's when the Vermilion Warriors attacked the temple.
Okay.
And that was just kind of like a it was like the ninja were playing levels against Vermilion. At first it was like the eggs came up and then the eggs turned into a massive thing and then there was more eggs and it was like them playing levels on a video game.
Hmm.
But yeah. And then I other than that, I think yeah. So wrong place, wrong time, and then the attack.
Okay. Fair enough. Just a brief reminder, anyone listening live, feel free to ask any questions you may have in the live YouTube chat. In the meantime,
Ask me questions. Woo!
we do have another question over on Twitter.
All right.
This is from Prentice, and he
Hey,
asks,
Prentice.
for Hayley, when she went through G2, Bionicle Generation 2, what did you think was the best slash worst thing about it?
Well, the best thing that first comes to mind is the animation. I I was warned that the animation was very different, and when I started watching it, I was like, "This animation is very different, but I love it." It was so like it was just so fluid. It wasn't like Ninjago anyway. Um, it was like a comic book coming to life, kind
Mm-hmm.
of what they're doing now in that new Spider-Man movie, the animated Spider-Man movie that's coming
Into the
out soon.
Spider Verse, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very similar to that, which I liked. Um, I also really liked some of the voice acting and then some of like the mini story arcs. Like even though there really wasn't many story arcs because there's only 4 episodes, the
Mm-hmm.
one with Pohatu and his creature, I really enjoyed that. I think it was Pohatu.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with his creature, I really enjoyed that little mini arc. I enjoyed watching that.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, and then the worst thing is probably the inconsistencies that I would watch and be like, so wait, why does Ikimu look like that? And what are these things? Like, what are these creatures coming out over here? And whoa, wait, is that's Makuta? Then why is he doing this? And then all of a sudden, the toe got shot to the sky, and I was like, wait, is it over? And then I saw the end, and I was like, what is this? And that's when Tyler was like, and that's it, you're done with G2. And I'm like, we just started.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
will never
so.
forget when we watched the ending to Journey to One, and after it was
Mm-hmm.
completely done, the call was thick with an atmosphere of
Yeah,
just
you can
sheer
imagine.
unbridled confusion and disappointment. It was so quiet you could hear a pin drop in the dirt in the middle of Idaho. It was that still.
Oh my gosh. I can imagine. That must have. It's like the opposite of the 2008 moment, when Matanui stands up,
Hmm.
but it's the complete opposite. You're like, and then, of course, it was the next day that the announcement came out.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's technically that day because Journey to One is a Netflix series and it comes out all at once after midnight at a certain point. So it was the
Okay.
very same day, and it was rough. Yeah.
That would have been so mean if y'all watched it. Like, y'all finally got all together and watched the end, and all of a sudden there's a little ping on Twitter from
Yeah.
Lego.
By the way, you're done now.
Just so you know,
Yeah,
Bionicle's canceled again.
pretty
But
much.
the end, literally.
Ugh.
Yeah, I if Ninjago ever ended like that, I would. And Bionicles lasted much longer than Ninjago, so it's. Oh
Oh
man,
yeah.
I could never imagine that feeling.
Brace
So
yourself.
yeah, no, hopefully Ninjago will prepare itself and Tommy's confirmed, or at least trying to make us all get excited that Ninjago has a bright future. I don't know what that means. We don't know what that means yet, but hopefully we will soon.
Hopefully.
But yeah, great
Okay.
question.
More questions. We'll make this a little bit more of a lightning round. The Mockingbird asks, Haley, who are your favorite and least favorite Toa?
All right, I got a list of Toa here. Let's look at these.
Nice. I remember you mentioned
I
you prepared a name,
yeah,
list of names.
I've got a. It's quite long. So I really like Gali and Liwa from the Toa Nuva,
Correct.
and then I did not. Well, I don't really know much about Anua, kind of in the same way that we don't really know much about Cole. For the Toa Nuva, Toa Metru really liked Vakama and Matau, and then probably same thing with Anua and Wanua. Didn't really get to know those two very well.
Mm-hmm.
Toa and Nika, all of them, loved them.
Wrong. No.
All of them are fantastic. Loved them all, from Jala to Niparu, and Uparu flying, and Kongu being upset about that, and Holly being just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, all those, and then Toahaga. I couldn't tell you one thing about any of them. So
That's fair.
besides their name, because I had to look it up to write them down. So,
Mm-hmm.
but then other than that, I really liked Lezovic, Nikon, Nadiki can go die in a hole. I
He
wouldn't
did.
care. And he probably, yeah, he did. He didn't die in a hole. He died in like a
But what's a vortex?
convergence. Yeah, well, I guess a vortex.
It's a
But
giant wind hole.
yeah. And then Tuyet, I'm mixed about Tuyet, especially with what his new serials are like engaging her character to be a part of. She is very interesting. I did not expect the twist about Tuyet, but I really liked her character, even though she is a psychopath killer. So it's interesting to find that Bionicle has the psychopath killer. That's a Toa of water. So, but yeah, there you go. I think I nailed all those Toa. So there we go.
Fair enough. Two yet sucks. But no, anyway, I have very negative thoughts on the whole two yet
Mm-hmm.
situation. I won't get into here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Warrior Studios asks, "What's your fondest Bionicle memory?"
Oh. Okay, here it is.
Mm.
I did not know what the logo was. I wanted to know what the logo was for a very long time. Ever since it was mentioned that the logo has a huge meaning for Bionicle, and I just could not figure it out. I had like doodles of maybe if this piece and this piece came together, and if this came together, or maybe it's a footprint for someone. I couldn't figure it out because the Rahi made the symbol, like the little Rahi things. They dug the symbol out, and I just
Mm-hmm.
could not. It was bothering me so much, and Tyler told me that I would find out in like the first 2 minutes of The Legend Reborn what it was.
Mm-hmm.
and I told him we were going to read all like as fast as we could to get to Legend Reborn, and we did, and we finally got to the movie. I think we even like skipped some of the book so we could get to the movie.
What?
And I remember, well, not like it was, we skipped something that wasn't very important. I couldn't remember what it was. I'm
Oh, it
sure it
was
was
probably the
important.
crossing.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. And I remember the mask got shot into space, and immediately I was like, "It's a galaxy." Oh my gosh! And then of course, the planet panned away, and I saw the galaxy, and I was like, "How could I be so dumb? It looks like a galaxy." And I guess it makes sense. I mean, with the world now, because it's a you know not a robot, it's a galaxy that's he lives in. So, but it was really cool. That I remember being so excited to find out what it was, and then it definitely paid off. That it was a really cool reveal.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think it was a reveal for everyone. I don't know if they
It
had
was.
told. So that was a big deal when the planet panned away and you saw that symbol.
Hmm. Yep. No, it was huge.
Okay. Yeah, I got to feel a little bit of it. So, but yeah, I really like that moment. So
Okay.
I will
Fair enough.
cherish that symbol forever. And I still have doodles of me attempting to figure out what that symbol meant.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally overthought it. But you know what? I did that with the Magnus too, so
That's fair. That's reasonable.
yeah.
All right. The Dark Master asks, Overlord versus Makuta Pterodax, who wins?
If they fought each other,
Yes. I
which form of the Overlord?
Well, let's go with the strongest forms for them respectively.
Okay.
The
So
strongest
like
let me add a bit of a caveat to that. Their strongest known base forms. I say
okay.
strongest known base forms because Makuta's strongest form, Pterodax's strongest form, was the
Yeah.
Matoran
His,
universe.
mm-hmm.
And I don't really think that anyone
Yeah.
standing up against a
Yeah.
40 million foot tall robot is going to win.
Yeah. Unless it's, another tall robot.
Exactly.
But I guess, the Overlord could take over that robot and fight him, but I think he could. I think he has that capacity. Well, we don't really know what the Overlord is. I know there's a lot of speculation that he's an Oni, but we haven't had that confirmed yet. So their strongest forms, that would put the Overlord as ooh, as
That
the
would put.
dragon?
I would say Overlord with the dragon as the dragon and Makuta Pterodax from the Legends of Mech Nui.
Okay. Um
And in that fight, my money's on Pterodax. And
oh
it's
really? Against the
not.
dragon?
Well,
Well,
first
I
of all,
guess
he has his
what
own wings,
yeah. Yeah. Oh
and
yeah, he does.
and secondly, he has 42 different Krata powers.
True. And if you compare the size of a Bionicle to a minifigure, they're giant. And so if you compare the size of what Makuta would have looked like to Lloyd, he would have been giant, kind of like the dragon. So I would probably put my money on Pterodax too,
Yeah,
because Overlord doesn't have that many abilities.
they're of comparable size, and I would
Yeah.
definitely guess that Pterodax has far more combat experience than the Overlord.
Hmm. Oh
So
yeah,
I'd say
Overlord
Pterodax.
lost and then kind of meddled to himself for a long time, and then came back and then lost again, and came back and lost again. Yeah, it's a
Basically.
bad track record.
I guess that's another
Yeah.
thing. Like even if you had him with the golden armor, I
Hmm.
still would bank on Pterodax simply because he has so
Yeah.
many different ways to deal with that, like magnetism
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
and poison
And he
and
has his I don't know what the actual term for it, but he has like his essence too, that
oh, the
he can't really
antidermis.
die. Yeah, the antidermis. Yeah, that stuff.
I don't know if that would really help him in a fight.
Well, he can like possess other things, right? Or did I get that
He can
wrong?
possess robotic shells. So, for instance, he would
Okay.
not be able to possess someone like Tahu because Tahu already has programming. He has the oh goodness, what is it? The organic protodermis.
Okay.
He's his own person.
Hmm.
The reason that Pterodax
He
was
could
able to
like
take over the Maxilos robot was because it
Is
was
because
simply that.
oh.
It was just a robot. It had no sentience.
So he could take over Zane, and Zane could take over, and Zane was defeated the Overlord for the second time. Correct?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah. Pterodax wins.
Yep. Okay, fair enough.
There we go. Woo! Sorry, Overlord.
Yeah.
Come back and become more powerful. Then maybe we can talk about it again.
Pretty much. All right, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up pretty soon. 2 more questions. One very briefly for me. Yoshi Dude asks, for LJ, thoughts on LEGO's marketing on G2? And I'm just going to reply with a comment by Nuparus. You mean the lack of marketing? And I figure that should sum that up.
That sounds like Ninjago.
Really? Ninjago has
for
tons of
Cartoon
marketing.
Network.
Oh.
For the TV
show.
series? Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And in that case, the final question we'll ask is from Shadow. And Shadow asks, who is the best character of both themes? And I would personally change that just slightly. We can go best. I'm going to answer my favorite, personally. But we can also go best as well. I'll let you go first.
All right. Ooh, this is hard. Best character. Ooh, I'm going to say Pterodax for Bionicle. Because he was brilliant in everything that he did. I mean, he won. He got what he wanted. And he had a very unique way of getting to that point that we couldn't really figure out. We didn't even know what his plan was until the very end. And yeah, it was so well thought out. He did everything he did properly, and he was also a dynamic character. We could see him interacting with Matoro or interacting with Vakama. He was a very real character. So for Bionicle, I would just say Pterodax. For Ninjago, I want to say Cole because he's my favorite, but the question was best. The best character from Ninjago. I'm gonna say Jay. It's gonna be Jay.
Okay.
Because he was the comic relief character that season 6 gave him something a lot more than just being a comic relief character. And I remember like thinking, I was like, oh wow, they're tearing Jay apart, especially in my dinner with Nauticon. And they really got into who he was, who he is, and what he means to the team. And yeah, so I think Jay is one of Ninjago's strongest characters that they have.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, who are your favorites from each?
Oh, my favorites? Favorite for Ninjago is Cole.
Okay.
Because he's awesome. Favorite from Bionicle. Oh boy. Favorite. I'm gonna choose 2.
Okay.
Because they go hand in hand with each other.
Okay.
It's gonna be, even though they were in 1 year only. Only 1 year.
Is it Matanui and Kina?
No.
Okay.
It is. Oh, I don't think I can remember their names. Valika, is that it?
Yeah.
Valika and
Kazi.
Yes, those two are my favorite.
Okay.
Their interactions were the greatest thing. I loved reading their interactions. I will always love their interactions. So.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. And then of course with the whole discovery with Valika is also awesome. So yeah, favorite there too. All right, and then you.
Yes.
Best and favorite.
So my favorites from Bionicle, it's of course Liwa. My favorite character in Bionicle is Liwa. If you hadn't guessed.
I sure hope it's Liwa.
Yeah, I know, right? And my favorite from Ninjago is Jay. Best.
Hey.
The best characters, in my opinion, I would agree with Hayley on Bionicle, it being Pterodax. He was a really solid character.
All right.
And in Ninjago, it's actually kind of obvious. the best character in Ninjago is Dareth.
Oh, I completely forgot. Oh, I thought you were gonna say Lloyd.
Who
But
in the world would beat the brown ninja? And I feel like that's a pretty solid place to end.
That's a great way to end it. Oh man, Dareth lives.
Well, Hayley, thank you for taking the time to be here today and to discuss the differences
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
juxtapositions between Bionicle and Ninjago. I really do appreciate it.
I'm humbled that you let me come on and do this. So
Absolutely. And
thank you.
if there's something else to discuss, you're more than welcome to come back. We'll just have to work on scheduling it out.
Absolutely. If you want me back.
Absolutely. All right. And is there anywhere on social media you would like people to follow you at?
Well, you can find me on Twitter. I believe it's at Private Duck Call, I think, or it's Eye of the Wolf, or something like that. Tumblr, I'm Eye of the Wolf. I have some cool fanfics on there if you want to check them out. And yeah, those are my main two. So,
All right. Perfect. In that case, I will put those in the description below, so feel free to go ahead and check those out.
yeah.
All right. In that case, we'll go ahead and wrap up again. Hayley, thank you very much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you, LJ. Thank you. It was a fun time.
All right. And thank all of you for tuning in today. Hopefully you all had a fun time, be it live or the recorded version, which will hopefully be up sometime this weekend. And with that, we will go ahead and wrap this episode up. This has been the Eljay Johnsen Show. It airs every single Saturday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise over on Twitter, similar to this one, which was actually at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time because there was a bit of a time change and needed to accommodate, and it was mentioned on Twitter. So that's where you'll find the updates, usually every single Tuesday alongside a guest announcement. So make sure to keep track of that. That is the Eljay Johnsen. And if you have any questions over the week or comments or anything, feel free to leave a comment down in the description below. The comment section below, or send me an email to ljjohnsen@gmail.com. Remember, that's JOHNSEN. Thank you very much. And hopefully you all have a wonderful, 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 wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Farewell.
Bye, everyone.